Have the Ravens hit rock bottom? Which essentially is asking, can this get worse than it is right now? Can this football team get worse than what we're seeing, especially in these last few weeks? I watched that Texans game back this morning. Only watched it one time. It's an ugly watch, and I'm sure there's a lot more to learn. I got to keep watching it and looking at different guys, but I had some takeaways. I had some thoughts. I listened to the press conferences after last night's game. I made a post-game thoughts video, but if you've been following this channel, you know that those post-game thoughts are just my raw initial thoughts after watching the game. I'm not really consuming anybody else's takes or anything. I'm just kind of venting to the camera and you guys. But now, after a day here, I got some time to gather some thoughts. I watched what the guys were saying after the game. I rewatched the game, and I'm not sure the Ravens have hit rock bottom yet. And what's the significance of rock bottom? It's the lowest point you could possibly be. Rock bottom is the turning point for anybody. I'm not just talking about football, but, it's a metaphor. Rock bottom is the lowest point you could possibly be, and it's only up from there. I don't think the Ravens are there yet. I think we got another tough week ahead. I'm not sure how many guys are coming back. We'll see later in the week if Lamar can go. That obviously makes a big difference. If we get some guys back on defense, I think it'll help a little bit. I'm not saying, I don't want to underplay the injuries completely, but there is a bigger coaching issue at bay here for sure, no doubt. 100%. These guys are underprepared. They're looking at each other on the field, not confident in what they're doing. I was pretty hard on the guys' effort, but after rewatching the game, I'm not sure if it's guys just like not trying or not wanting to play football. It's more about them not trusting or being confident in the position that they're in and that they are going to work together as a unit to get things stopped, especially on defense. And then on offense, this offensive line is horrendous. So these trenches are underperforming, and I think that is a huge issue to this team. Both sides of the ball, man. We cannot run the ball on offense because of this offensive line. They have regressed. There's no doubt about it. I know Linderbaum is banged up right now, but he didn't look himself. The guards aren't starters, man. Like, they don't belong in a starting lineup on any NFL team. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. It is what it is. You could look at a PFF grade for Fa'alele or whatever you want. I mean, it's ugly. It's ugly, man. This line's not working together, and they don't look like they know who to even block sometimes. They're like blocking the wrong guys. You hear a lot of players. I heard Van Noy talking last night about the Ravens aren't playing with fundamentals. Well, where does that come from? It comes from coaching. And yes, Harbaugh's all the way at the top, but we could get more specific. We're looking at the offensive line. You got to call out George Warhol. This line looks worse. Not only are they not getting push, they are not confident in making decisions on who to even block, which is fundamentals of football. We are at the highest level on what we all thought was one of the best teams in the NFL in the Baltimore Ravens, and this line looks like they don't know what to do. Roger Rosengarten has regressed. I'm not going to be super hard on Noteboom. He's a backup. We didn't have Ronnie Stanley, but I'm just looking at the rest of the line, and I'm like, I'm not satisfied with anything I'm seeing. This offensive line is not even close to being good enough. And they're okay in pass protection. It's not awful, but the run blocking this year is ridiculous. When have the Ravens not been able to run the ball? And we have Derrick Henry. We activated Keaton Mitchell yesterday, which we've all been screaming for. It didn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. This line can't block. So until they get that figured out, until they get some new bodies in there, somebody that actually wants to go hit somebody and get some push, and a coach that can teach these offensive linemen the fundamentals, because I'm tired of hearing about the Ravens aren't playing with fundamentals. They're just not executing the simple things. They're not blocking well. They're not getting off blocks well. All that's from coaching, though. Like, this stuff should be, it should be ingrained in all these guys. They're professionals, maybe not the rookies they just got here, but the professionals, the people that have been in the league for a few years should have the fundamentals down, but it does seem like nobody's playing with a lot of fundamentals. So that's why I go to coaching, because these guys need to be better prepared and be confident in what they need to do so they can go out there and just execute it at full speed. And I feel like there's a lot of thinking and guessing and confusion going on right now. I watched all the videos of the players who spoke to the media last night, and one common theme was miscommunication. Wiggins was talking about miscommunication on the field. Teddy was wearing the green dot. He's a rookie. And then you hear Jair talk about how Malachi was the one communicating to the defense. And he's like, all right, Teddy sometimes, but Malachi was the one.
You think about miscommunication, is that the product of just so many different guys coming into spots they hadn't had a whole lot of work at yet?
I mean, yeah, all year we just can't, communication, man.
Teddy and Malachi, or was it just Malachi?
As far as I can remember, it was Malachi. Sometimes Teddy, but I can remember Malachi because, it's my guy.
I know we're shorthanded. We have a lot of injuries. Rookies are playing a lot more, especially on defense, than anybody ever imagined, including the coaches in front office. But if there's that much miscommunication, it is the coach's job. It's Zach Orr's job initially. It's John Harbaugh's job. Like, fix that communication quickly. Make sure these guys are confident in what they need to do. And I'm sure in practice, every player has backed up that they practice really hard. Van Noy said they practice harder than anybody in the league. Henry said practice is not an issue. All the players are saying that they are practicing hard, they are doing things right in practice. Well, then they're guided in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just about practicing well, because it's not translating to games at all. And I think that disconnect is what they're supposed to do, the assignment. They're not being taught well. If you look at the defense and how we're getting torched a lot in these zone coverages and these soft spots in these zone coverages, the guys aren't aware of where the receivers are. Like, little bit of talent, yes, but I really think it's too common in this Ravens defense, so it's got to go back to coaching. These guys aren't taught to be in the right spots, to feel out where they're supposed to be, and you can see it on the field. You can see it in the tape. They're lost. They're confused, which leads to frustration. Through 5 weeks, we're 1-4. Now the guys are pissed. Now everybody's lacking a little belief. They say, a lot of people say the right things to the media and say, no, we believe we're going to turn this around. Wiggins said we're still really close.
I don't feel like we that far away. I feel like we on a great path. It was there. It's just a couple we missing parts. A couple paces away. It's just a couple plays away from man great. So we just gotta keep going head first.
We're hearing a lot of mixed messages from coaches all the way down to players. A lot of different reasons of why things are going wrong, what they need to fix. It's mixed messages across the board, which tells me nobody really knows. Nobody has an answer. They're going to practice. They're putting in a lot of effort at practice. They're executing well at practice and then getting absolutely dominated on Sundays. Between running a business, creating videos, and just everyday life, I'm always looking for a quick snack to keep me fueled, and that's why I gotta tell you guys about Chomps. I am literally obsessed with these beef sticks. I have one every single day. It is the perfect on-the-go snack. 10 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and they taste incredible. My personal favorite right now is the barbecue beef stick. Chomps comes in a bunch of pack sizes too. You can grab them online in 10 count or 24 count packs, or pick them up in stores as singles or 6 to 8 packs. If you've tried Chomps before, drop your favorite flavor in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys think. And if you haven't tried Chomps, check them out using the link in the description, or use code FLOCK for 15% off your Chomps order and free shipping. And I don't know how this turns around this week. We got a tough Rams team coming into Baltimore, who just lost a game they shouldn't have lost, but they get some extra time to prepare, and they're probably licking their chops. They're going to run all over us. They're going to pass all over us. They're loaded. They got weapons everywhere. Their offense is dangerous. This Rams team is probably going to do some damage to this defense, even if we get some guys back. So I don't think we're at rock bottom yet. It feels like it. It feels like it's as bad as it's ever been. But I don't think we're there yet. And we'll probably hit rock bottom over the bye and then get healthy after the bye. And, we'll see what the guys are made of, and if the coaches are going to stick together, if they're going to make any changes, if Steve Bisciotti's going to make any changes. I'm not expecting a head coach change in the middle of the season, just because I think they're going to take their time and really interview a lot of guys and, just take their time. These things happen during the offseason. We've had the same head coach for 18 years. You usually don't just move on in the middle of the season. If you do, then you're kind of just giving the job temporarily to maybe somebody else, whoever an assistant head coach or whoever would step up into that role and tank the season away and then go find a coach in the offseason. But I don't really see that happen. I think they're going to ride it out, see if they can turn it around. And if this continues, there's definitely going to be changes in the offseason. And we may need to hit a further rock bottom. It may need to get worse for changes to actually happen, because I think one of the worst things that could happen right now, we have the 3rd pick in the draft, which sounds fun and amazing for the offseason, right? Like we would get a true game changer at pick number 3. But you know as well as I know, after this bye week, we have a very winnable schedule. And I'm not saying we're going to like run the table and roll into the playoffs or even make the playoffs, but we're not going to be the 3rd pick in the draft. You know, we would have to pretty much sit everyone and kind of just roll with how things are right now. I have a feeling we're going to win a lot more games, even if we go 500 in that back half of the schedule. Now you're picking 12th or 15th or 20th or whatever it ends up being, which isn't the game changer most likely that you would get at 3. So, and it might leave the optimistic door open for Steve Bisciotti to be like, no, they turned it around. We just dealt with some injuries early. The coaches turned it around, and we're just going to keep rolling with what we got. And then you might not get a lot of change if the Ravens kind of turn this around and then maybe stumble out of the playoffs or barely miss the playoffs or something. They blame the injuries early in the season. It's almost, if you want change, if you want drastic change, it's almost better to have an awful season this season. And I'm not rooting for that. I don't know what I'm rooting for right now. I think I'm just rooting for a Super Bowl somehow, but it seems light years away. I mean, it seems insane right now to say that this team could even have a chance of making the Super Bowl, let alone making the playoffs at the moment. So, I mean, that's so far from our expectations, but starting this season, that was everyone's expectations. I mean, there's no doubt about it. No one thought that the Ravens weren't going to be in the playoffs, weren't going to make some noise. Maybe you questioned some of the coaching in the big games or, you know, the ability to win against the better teams. I get that. I agree. But no one thought we'd be here right now. You know, that's why I'm like, man, this feels like rock bottom, but I don't think we've hit rock bottom yet. It's week 6 now. I don't think we're there yet. It's going to get a little worse. This week feels like it's going to get a little worse. And the noise is going to get louder, but I don't know how much change is coming until way in the offseason, most likely. And another thing I wanted to point out is Eric DeCosta's role in building this roster. And I'm not very hard on Eric DeCosta often. I actually respect and like Eric DeCosta. I think he's a good GM. I think he's top 5 GM in the NFL. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is all his fault, but he has neglected the trenches. You know, we haven't been aggressive in building the offensive or defensive line. I know in the past we got a couple top picks on the offensive line. Ronnie Stanley years and years ago obviously was a top 10 pick. Linderbaum's a first-round pick. Roger Rosengarten, second-round pick. But we have neglected the guards fully. We went with projects. Voorhees coming off an injury. We got a value pick in the 7th round. And, you know, I fall into the trap sometimes too where I'm like, oh, wow, what a steal. You know, what a steal that we got a guy who was projected to go in the 1st or 2nd or even 3rd round. We get him in the 7th. You know, he redshirts for a year, rehabs, and now he's going to be our starting guard for years to come. And it's just kind of a pipe dream, really, and it's not playing out like that at all. If you watch the game, I mean, we have bad guard play consistently. Fa'alele, a project right tackle who you moved into guard last year, who never played guard, doesn't even have a ton of football experience in his life. And we can see it. It clearly shows. Not a smart football player. I'm not saying he's not a smart human being. I don't know him. But he's not making smart decisions out there on the field consistently. So we've neglected to add beef to the trenches. And on the defensive side of the ball, I know they went and got Mike Green, and, you know, too early to really tell. I like some things I'm seeing from Mike Green, to be honest with you. He's just not game-wrecking. He's not, you know, immediately getting to the quarterback and being as dominant as I thought he might be through 5 weeks. I don't think he's quite there yet, but I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's going to be here for years to come. He's going to play a good role for the Ravens. But we have neglected to add beef to the trenches. The Matabike injury is killing us. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Our defensive line looked way better with Matabike, and he's not coming back. So we got to go make another move, or we got to start selling, because that's another point. The front office, Eric DeCosta, you're really going to find out what their belief is in the rest of this season near that trade deadline. Are we going to be sellers? Are we going to unload some veterans that have big contracts, or, you know, just somebody that might leave in free agency, like a Travis Jones or an Odafe Owe? Do you just ship them out and get whatever you can get? If it's a 3rd, 4th round pick, you just take it. If we start seeing the Ravens be sellers, then the front office also says this season's over. We got to start thinking about the future because this ain't going to work. Or the Ravens get aggressive and are buyers and try to add to the offensive line or add to the defensive line and turn this thing around this season. That's going to be a really interesting decision. This next month is going to tell you a lot about what the belief in this organization is. But let me know what you guys are thinking about everything. I'm going live again tonight with Noah from For the Flock at 7 o'clock. So we'll expand further on this and chop it up with you guys and just vent, man. Have a little therapy session because it's painful right now watching this team. But appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And I'll let the greatest linebacker in the history of the game take us out.
Ravens Flock. Flock Rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the Flock Rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better